Welcome to another behind the scenes thing, a little gift I give my clients, which is a business reading for the Human Design chart. So today's person is a 2-4 projector named Judy, who is a counselor. So again, your chart does not tell you the exact role you need to pick, like the business niche. What it does is it tells you how to show up properly for that role and like the special sauce that you bring to that role. So as a counselor, what Judy's chart says is that her role is to teach other people how to use their intuition alongside their logic. Really useful, right? And that she is able to do so effectively because she becomes aware of the ways the shadow of relying on thinking alone has showed up for her in her life in the past. And she's chosen to use those experiences as a gift and not be a victim to them. So she's learned how to overcome that, which means she can now guide other people through how to use their own intuition plus the logic. And then her special sauce, so her blue ocean, what makes her different as a counselor is the fact that not only can she help you use head and heart together, but she can help you see new possibilities and balance that head and intuition. Okay. And then what her clients don't necessarily expect about working with her is how she can see beyond the superficial and guide with integrity. That's the bonus. They were just hoping, like, help me work this thing out, and she was like, yes, but I can read between the lines of what you aren't telling me. And I have such strong integrity as I'm guiding you. Okay. So these are themes she could use if she has any form of visibility content going along with why pick me as a counselor? Because I didn't ask what she was counseling, but it could be counseling like weight loss, it could be marriage counseling, family counseling. Like there are a lot of different things it could be that don't necessarily assume, oh, I'm just having to deal with these ginormous interpersonal problems in life, right? People go to counselors for all kinds of reasons. So remember, her special sauce is the new possibilities, seeing beyond the superficial and guiding them with integrity towards the right solution. Now, this job as the counselor becomes a source of prosperity. In other words, she gets money as a counselor when she creates what sounds fun to her instead of wondering who will like it. So she stops looking outside for inspiration and validation and trusts her own creativity and focuses on creative output. Now, that's kind of an unusual pairing for a counselor. You'd assume that maybe they're with teams and partnerships and stuff like that. But what this says to me is that what Judy might want to consider is, has she ever thought about classes and workshops and boot camps, rewiring boot camps? Like, what is she doing in her business in terms of offers and containers for her clients that just sound super fun to her? And like lead magnets and free content, webinars, master classes. Like, is she creating like some really fun things just because she thought it sounded fun? Right. So she needs to get out of the, well, but everybody is told to do this. She needs to just go like, I don't know. I love learning about this for myself and go make something of her own and put that out there. And that will draw money, right? People will pay her for that. It's almost like the author or the artist, the painter. They don't get told, now please paint a stallion galloping at sunset through mist with autumn trees. No, no, no. The gallery says, we like the quality of your work. Whatever you paint in the next quarter, we're going to buy. We'll pick what collection we're going to put it in, but we're buying it. Okay. So this as the therapist, she's not supposed to be going to the marketplace. She's not supposed to be letting her clients tell her what to put out for terms of offers. She's supposed to be just creating the stuff that she thinks is totally fun on her own. Okay. Now, her brand as a counselor is new perspective. I'm going to give you a new perspective on this. It's less about like, can you work through and free yourself from the changes of the past? Is new perspective. So just like hammer home that new perspective messaging angle in your content, Judy. That's what you need. Also, you are someone, aesthetics is very important. Your image, your aesthetics. So now that could be how you present yourself online and to clients. It could be making sure that your branding is really up to date, up to snuff. It's really professional and clear. Whatever it is, yourself, your work, your site, brand and aesthetics is very important to you and need to lean into that actually is how people are going to come to you, is they're going to admire that about you. Okay. And then the flip side, if you're ever having trouble with this whole new perspective brand type of angle, remember that if you're falling into resisting other people's insights, that's your warning bell. That's your like, oops, I need to go back to my own techniques, ground myself, center myself, because I'm resisting here. And I need to open myself up to new perspective. Okay. Now, visibility as a counselor. So, like, how does she get name recognition? Well, for Judy, it's actually quite simple. All she needs to do is demonstrate competence. Were you good? Were you quick? Were you efficient at giving people a new angle, way of looking at it? Okay, great. Then they're gonna word of mouth tell you about and tell other people about you, right? All she has to do is be a competent counselor, and it's gonna happen. Now, how did Judy get into this work in the first place? Well, her chart tells us because she responds with graciousness. She's known to be such a gracious, interpersonally gifted person. She was like, I think I'll do counseling. Don't let that out. Now, the higher purpose though behind her career choice, like why did she shoot for that career anyways? Like why did she say, I want flipping burgers at McDonald's? Because she was like, true freedom comes with it. I'm gonna give myself true freedom. I'm gonna go deep within and open up all these avenues. And so she picked counseling. Okay. Now, all the lessons she's been learning along the way in her journey to become a counselor and to get good at being a counselor are about infusing life with new energy and embracing all aspects of life, which are some pretty cool lessons if you think about it. It's not just like resolving to break people free and break things off of them. It's all about falling in love with your life again and handling everything that's coming at you, right? Handling all the curveballs. Now, what's going to come across in her content themes and what she is always hitting on with her clients is embracing all aspects of life and presence. So she's going to be encouraging them to have presence with whatever's going on and dealing with opening themselves up to embracing everything that is happening with them in their lives right then. Excuse me. So again, if she's got online content, what Judy wants to hit home is embrace all aspects of life and presence. And then she wants to highlight the fact that she is the counselor who wants to help you infuse your life with new energy and embrace all the aspects of life. Because again, when you talk about the things that you are uniquely gifted at and you learned life lessons about, the people who need those lessons are going to come to you. Now, also for her clients, who does she need to work with? Like, who's a really aligned client for her? Well, her chart says two things. They need to have an enthusiasm for life, zest for life, and they need to have an ability to acknowledge different perspectives and find win-win solutions. Because her counseling is not going to work for them if they're just all in, everything's win or lose, and meh, we can get by with life being meh. We don't have to love our lives again, right? So again, fire any clients who are aligning with this. This is how you uplevel yourself. And make sure you talk about the zest for life and the acknowledging the different perspectives and always finding win-win, not win compromise or win-lose solutions. That will help people self-select in or out to your work because your people appreciate how you lean into dynamism. You're a very dynamic counselor. Like being with you and being helped by you is fun. Okay. Now, this is also most felt when you align or identify aligning partners with complementary skills and operate in a partnership. So, probably you will see that you have already been having a great referral network. You're usually telling your people, again, I don't know what your counseling specialty is, but after we deal with, like, say you're in weight loss counseling, I don't know, but pretend you are, and you're like, okay, after the weight loss coaching, I would like you to go talk to this hormone specialist, or I would like you to go talk to this intuitive eating specialist, or, something like that. Like you always have a next step for them with someone else that's exactly what they could use. Also, this whole operating in partnership, you're going to want to be like to have a business partner or to have like an OBM that's like your right hand person. And so I'm guessing as a counselor, you are not maybe the subordinate one, right? So either you need to have someone you're really close to that, yes, maybe technically you employ them, but it really feels like a partnership, or need a full on, like, we are partners in my counseling practice thing. That is what is really going to bring out the best for you in this business. Now, just to note, to do this, you have a tendency towards provocation and you do have to stop that. So like poking, pushing people's buttons, okay? Whenever you're doing that, that's inherent to you. Remind yourself that's how you're showing you're getting off center. Come back to grounding, come back to centering. Stop doing that because that breaks your partnerships, okay? Now, I am not sure what age you are, so I'll give you both a pre-40 and post-40 in terms of the clients you're helping as a counselor. Pre-40, you're helping people who need you to give them an idea of like, I'm stuck, I'm at a loss, I don't have that new possibility. You come up with something. You tell me this new idea because I cannot get that spark, that brainstorm for myself. They come to you because they know you can get it. Now, after 40, you're helping people who recognize they need you to mentor them. You have such a good name for yourself, what you do, whatever. It's more like people are like, oh, Judy, oh, I need her. It's not just the idea thing that they need anymore. They want you, all of your mindset, your method, right? So that's the shift. And it's kind of a 2-year window. So somewhere between 38 and 42, you're going to notice that shift. Or if you're past that, you will already have seen that shift. Okay. Now, and how you level up as a counselor. Like, how do you build your business? Embracing challenges to up level. So every time you hit that hard patch, you're like, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to learn the lesson. And you're going to get more money, more milestones, recognition afterwards. And cultivating that zest for life. Those are the only things you have to do. You keep leaning into those, you will keep up level. Which is really kind of nice to know, right? And then for the money situation, you're actually meant to just lean into trust and detach from future outcomes, like how much money you could be making, and not really care about the number that's sitting in your business checking account. It just like lean into trust, sovereignty, I'm being provided for, I'm being taken care of, whether I'm in plenty, whether I'm in want. That's what you're supposed to do. While you use your money-making gift, which is being willing to grow instead of being impatient. Whenever you're impatient, it's like you choke up the flow of money. Whenever you're like, I'm willing to grow, I'm willing to stretch myself into this, the money comes in. Okay, that's actually it for you. Now, you have a lot of superpowers, and there's some pretty interesting ones, especially as related to your counseling. Number one, you have the ability to help others tap into their feelings, connect to their guidance in order to transform and uplevel. Sounds super crucial to a counselor, right? You also have the ability to find meaning in life's trials and tribulations and the capacity to rise to the occasion when a goal or a cause is worth fighting for. This is kind of part of probably why you went into counseling, is you could find the lesson and you wanted to help other people find the lesson and not be knocked off their feet. And it was just like life took them out of the game. You wanted them to keep going, to level up to the next boss fight, right? And then you are also a natural genius who can see the world through a unique lens and has the ability to conceptualize and translate their viewpoint with clarity for those who are really ready to listen. In other words, when you have a client who's ready to listen to you, you have a unique way of seeing their situation, explaining that to them in such a way that your client can understand that new possibility that you're seeing for them. Okay. Also, you have the ability to gather and organize information and data to substantiate your opinions and see the bigger picture. This is the analyst, which is actually really interesting as a therapist. So you are not just like super emotionally tapped in, you're also really strategic and analytical. So again, this probably has something to do with the exact counseling that you are doing that you didn't share with me, but this is a big part of it, okay? Because the other thing we can see is when we look at your centers, some centers, you have, and some you are like super good at, right? So what we know about your role is it requires those super good at things, either the fact that you learn how to do it, or that you shift your role so that that is brought into it. That could be shifting your offer, it could be shifting, your career, whatever. Since you're a fairly experienced counselor, I'm going to guess you're just being like, oh yeah, I've seen that, seen that, seen that, seen that. But take this as reinforcement that you're on the right track. You are very high in the ability to handle emotions, both your own and others. Check. Absolutely. You are pretty high in the expression of thoughts and ideas, and there's the communication, because of course, as a counselor, what are you doing? A ton of communicating, right? You are very high in the ability to deal with deadlines and pressure. So this means being able to leave work at work, handle all sorts of conflicting things, which could be like clients wanting pop-up appointments, needing like instant, urgent help, multiple things going on. Maybe you have different arms of the business and they all have separate things. I don't know exactly what this is for you, but you are really, really high in the ability to handle this. So it is a very big part of your life. You're also very high in strategizing, as we saw in the superpower. Now, this is another place this is coming up. So maybe it's your business structure, but I would be willing to bet this also comes into what you do with your clients. You're really, really good at helping them strategize and analyze, present them with a course of action. Something. Maybe you're creating custom plans or mindset work. I don't know what it is, but this has to be part of it. Because remember, your thing was brand is handling both the head and the heart. You handle the emotions and you handle the strategy. So again, whatever you're doing, it's both. Okay. Now, lastly, we know that there is an environment, a place that is going to set your nervous system at ease, where your best ideas for counseling come, where the right opportunities and partnerships find you. Being around water. You're really going to like bodies of water, being able to see shores and lakes and oceans and whatever. And we also know your chart says you're not so fond of moving, traveling, being got to go on vacation, you rather just like stay put in one spot. So, in other words, you need to live in a place near water. You need to let yourself root and ground into something. Okay. When you do those two things, it's going to be so much easier for you to be aligned with this. In other words, aligned with everything good we were talking about. Being willing to grow, coming up with the ideas, having enthusiasm for life, showing competence, responding with graciousness, helping people balance the head and the heart. Those are going to come very naturally to you when you are in places that allow you to be look out and experience and walk next to water. You're allowed to stay rooted without people who are like constantly trying to get you to go travel off to other places. Okay. So again, take what resonates, throw out the rest. But I hope you enjoyed this insight into Judy, our 2-4 projector.